if you want to manage your team, is like show them that they're working for themselves and not just for you, right? And that's the most important thing. Like if you can show them, like, okay,
Exactly.
they have their own goals. You should set goals for them, make a plan, make some goals, make habits for your employees, and you're gonna 2x your business at least.
And how much money did you make, like, in those 6 months?
Obviously, it's
In total.
in total.
Yeah.
In the 6 months, for the business, I would put an estimate of around 200k, 250k.
250k.
Yeah, just, for the business, and as an appointment setter, you usually get about 10%.
Si eres infoproductor, si tienes tu negocio y quieres llevarlo al siguiente nivel, te recomiendo este podcast. Este podcast lo grabé con un amigo que conocí en Medellín, es de Netherlands, trabaja como appointment setter y hace poco comenzó en todo este juego y está haciendo unos números muy interesantes. Así que si es que quieres llevar tu negocio al siguiente nivel, presta mucha atención. Yo sé que a lo mejor y puede que no hables el inglés o puede que no hables el idioma, así que también voy a colocar subtítulos para que se te haga más fácil, pero lo que quiero es traerles la mejor información a ustedes para que puedan escalar sus negocios, para que puedan mejorar lo que es el acompañamiento con sus empleados, con las personas que hacen parte del proyecto, para que puedan crecer y para que puedan tener las bases sólidas. Así que con muchísimo cariño les dejo este podcast. Como les digo, mi idea es poderles traer información de todos los diferentes países, de todos los diferentes lugares, para que puedan tener diferentes perspectivas. Así que espero que puedas disfrutar este video. Nos vemos en la próxima.
Hello, you beautiful people. We're here in a new pod. This is my first time doing this in English, to be honest. So I think it's going to be an amazing experience. Right now, I'm here with my guy, with my friend Nick. He is from Netherlands. We find each other in Medellin. So we're going to talk about some crazy things. He's like amazing. He has a lot of knowledge in the sales process, in the appointment setting processes. So we're going to share a lot of value. So right now, I want you to introduce a little bit of who you are. Where are you from? Like, what are you doing in Medellin, my friend?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I think it's a very cool opportunity for me to kind of break down a little bit about what I do and also how I can help you guys out with your businesses. So my name is Nick. I am from the Netherlands, and I came to Medellin mainly because I work online, like why not? But also because there's a lot of opportunities in Medellin when it comes to meeting other people that work online, having their info businesses, getting inspiration from others, and yeah, really like the connections, and that's how I met you as well. So yeah, it's really that's really the main reason why I came here. But also like things like the weather, the culture, like that's definitely what attracted me to the city as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. I remember the first time that we met, it was because we were doing a running club, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, that's true.
It's amazing because in here we have like some experiences, like having a group of people on a Sunday at 8:30 a.m. in a park where we're going to take a run, and then we ate some food. And all of the people in there are like speaking in English. They're from different parts of the world, and most of them have businesses. So it is amazing for meeting people because I don't know, but we have some friends in there that are only looking for girls. But we have like this mindset of just going there and look for guys.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
those things are like, or those guys are the ones who are making like important things, like
Oh, yeah.
businesses
Yeah.
or like interesting things, you know. And we're not like wasting our time. So yeah, Medellin is amazing, bro. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think about Medellin? We can go a little bit into that.
I really like the culture. I've never been to South America before, so it was my first time. I really like the culture. The weather obviously is perfect. And yeah, I mean, like the things that get organized, like the run club, but also like you have a very cool workout where you have like an ice bath after. Like there's everything in terms of wellness, but also combining the wellness with business meetings and important people and actually getting your business connections that you're actually looking for. And it's the main reason why people are actually in cities like these. So I really like the combination between the wellness that's here, but also connecting with the people. That's
Exactly.
definitely something that attracted me.
Exactly, and I think that we can start getting into the topics that we want to talk, because in order to be in Medellin and like take all the value that you can get, you need skills.
Yeah.
So you need to have knowledge, you need to have skills, so then you can start like networking with other people, you know. So we can start going into that because your personality is like extremely important with these things, and then that is going to affect how you're doing businesses as well. Because if you're an extrovert, it's going to be easier for you to talk to other people or do this or do that, you know. So I think that we can start doing that.
100%. And when it comes to being an extrovert, I think that's something you can practice as well. I used to be not the biggest extrovert, but still by constantly putting myself in uncomfortable situations and putting myself on places where I had no other choice than connect with people, you automatically become more of an extrovert. And I think that definitely helps you if you want to connect with people as well. So putting yourself in uncomfortable spots is very important to
Yeah,
as well.
of course. You need to chase pain because
Exactly.
most of the people are trying to get away from that,
Yeah,
And if
exactly.
you start embracing that mindset, it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
Because all of the things that happen to you is gonna be like an opportunity for you to grow.
Yeah.
And that is extremely important. How you see the things is extremely important.
100%.
For example, before the pod, we were talking about the skills that somebody needs. For example, if you're like in the business space and you have like a business and you have like a project, how you manage your team.
Yeah.
How are you talking to them? Or how is your people inside of your organization or yourself? For example, if you already have a business, I suppose that you have your knowledge, that you have your skills, that you can have a networking. But there are two more things, your resources and your reputation.
Yeah.
And those things are extremely important. So for example, Nick, you work with different businesses, you work with different appointment setters,
Yeah.
you work with different type of things, So what are the best skills that somebody can develop and what are you looking for when you're hiring people?
Yeah. So the thing is, I am an appointment setter myself, which means that I help info businesses get more clients. And basically, I am also a setter manager, so I also manage the sales teams, and I make sure that they get their skills on point and actually get constant clients in. And so I hire people, I fire people. It's all in the process. What I really look for when it comes to hiring appointment setters is basically a combination of three things. It's being a good communicator, which is very important because sales is all about communication. The second thing is actually having the work ethic, because it's based on commission, right? You don't get your paycheck, you don't get your hourly rate, wage. It's all about the more work you put in, the more money you'll get.
Of course.
Which is definitely going to help you out when it comes to sales because there's no roof. And that's what I really like about the sales as well. Is like you can make as much money as you can, just because the more you work, the more you earn. And that's really cool about it.
Exactly.
And the third thing is actually the most important in my opinion, which is coachability. And that's something I want to tell a little bit more about because I've seen a lot of appointment setters fail because they just weren't coachable and they were arrogant and they thought they knew everything about the process.
Exactly.
And when it came to trying to teach these appointment setters new things, they were not able to understand what I was trying to say and I was trying to tell them. And because of that, they weren't growing as an appointment setter either. So it's very important that you're coachable and you're able to take feedback in order to actually become better as a person. And it's not just in sales, it's basically in everything in life. If you're not able to take feedback, you'll never grow as a person.
Of course,
It's the most important thing.
And did you always have this mindset, or how was like your story? How was like your process when you were like growing? How did you get into like working as an appointment setter?
Yeah, good question. So I started in in-person sales, which taught me a lot about sales. Obviously, I used to work in a furniture store where I sold couches, I sold everything, and it was really all about work ethic, like I had to run to the other part of the store to show people stuff, and I was trying to sell things to people for like 3 hours straight. It was all part of the process, man, and it really built you as a salesman for sure. And from there on, I was doing pretty good in in-person sales, and then I was like, well, why not find a sales job where I have even more commission so I can leverage my work ethic even more. And that's how I basically found online sales, and I really value traveling as well, so that was a good benefit of the online part as well. So I took a mentorship on online sales, and that's basically how I rolled into appointment setting. And from there on I landed an offer, and I've been on that offer since 6 months now, so yeah, that's how I kind of get into it.
So you started like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And how much money did you make like in those 6 months?
Obviously it's
In total.
yeah,
Right, just for yourself and then for the businesses.
Yeah.
Or at first for the businesses and then for yourself.
Okay, so in the 6 months, for the business, I would put an estimate of around 200K,
200K? 250K?
Yeah, just for the business. And as an appointment setter, you usually get about 10%. So it obviously built up because we started pretty small, and since the last couple of months, we have been hitting record months consistently. So I think it's really building up the business slowly but surely, and we're only getting more and more in as a monthly revenue. So yeah.
Bro, it's crazy. Like you started out 6 months ago, and you already make a business $250,000, bro.
Yeah.
It is amazing, like the opportunities that we have with the internet, bro. It is fucking amazing.
It's crazy, yeah.
I love it, bro. Like listening to you always blew my mind when I talk to entrepreneurs because they're like, I make this type of money or this type of money, I this, and I'm like, bro.
Especially what amazes me is if you look at the background of the entrepreneurs, because 90% of them, they don't even have some kind of degree. It's just them having a plan and having the mind to it, and they just make insane amounts of money as well.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
really
yeah.
amazes me.
It's because we need to understand what is education by definition.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
growing your character.
Mm.
That is the definition of that, you
100%.
know? So how can you study? You
Yeah.
study talking to, like we're talking right now, you know? We're studying. We're learning from each other.
100%.
If you're reading a book, if you're listening to a podcast, if you're like going into like the field and you're having like calls or you're having like conversations, you're learning, bro. You're
100%.
studying, you know?
Yeah.
And what happens is that most of the people look at the traditional educational system
Yeah.
and they think that that is the only way. And since the internet arrived, bro, the
People
whole,
underestimate it very, very hard.
bro, and the whole thing changed.
Yeah.
The world is changing the fastest as it can be, bro. And
Yeah.
you need to evolve, you know?
Yeah.
So right now the info space, bro, is a wonderful place. It's a villainized niche, to be honest.
100%.
Like people hate it, but bro, it's amazing that you can have people that already have the experiences. For example, yourself. You're coaching somebody right now, you know?
Yeah.
And you're helping them because you have the experience. You already went through the path, you know? And
Yeah.
you can help other people. And for me, bro, that is the best thing that we have nowadays because, bro, you can learn from people that are doing the things that they teach you, you know?
Yeah.
Because, of course, you need to learn and you need to study who are you going to invest your money with you know?
Yeah,
You need to
100%.
know the person.
Yeah.
But if you are the right people like we are, bro, you can get a lot of fucking value with that, bro.
Yeah.
And you can leverage yourself a few years because I can like see your experience and I can be like, okay, what are the things that Nick did to get into this situation?
Yeah.
And then you can follow the steps, the roadmap, and you're going together, bro. So
I think a big part of the online space is just looking at the successful actions of others and just copying
Exactly.
it. And that's exactly why the info space works so well as well. Is because people know something that you don't, and that's the reason why I took a mentorship in online sales as well. Because I realized that okay, I can get into online sales, but I don't know how. I don't know how to start. I don't know where I could get the money from, and having the education is the best way to go about it. And really, these online mentorships, people see them a lot as scams because not all of them are reliable. And I have to say that this is true. Not all of them are reliable.
Yeah.
But if you want to get into online money or whatever, you want to do anything in the online space, then having a mentorship is just needed for you. It's like an education, right? If you want to become a surgeon, you have to do the surgeon education as well in school. And it's the same with the online space as well. Like you have to take a mentorship, you have to get the education, the information
Exactly.
to actually become that. So I think
Exactly.
it's really being underestimated.
No, and you touch one really important point because most of the people that got into this space become scammers, and it's because they don't know how to do the things in the business space, you know? Because they're just taking action, but they're being reactive through life and businesses. Because they take action, they're like, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah.
They're not being proactive, and that is really important when you're in businesses because when you have a strategy behind, it's gonna be a completely different scenario, you know.
Yeah.
But most of the people they become scammers because they don't understand how to have a really good fulfillment or operations or your time to first value. How long it takes to you to get your first quick wins to your customers, you know.
Yeah.
Those things that are really important because most of the people think that like the results or like the big wins are like when they're closing deals, and it's not.
No.
Is when you make or you have the results to your clients that you were promising when you got the sales.
Exactly.
That is extremely important, and most of the people they don't see like the whole picture. So they're just in the front end of the businesses, but you also have your back end, and that is the most important thing because if you have a good
100%.
back end, then you can have a businesses or you can have your business who can grow.
100%.
You know?
An info business that grows automatically on testimonials. That's
Exactly.
like the biggest thing. And
Exactly.
I think it's not just the testimonials, but it's also the most fulfilling part about it. Because you can sell
Of course.
you can sell like a 3K mentorship to someone, but if you can't deliver, then it's not going to be actually fulfilling.
Exactly. Because you need to like trust your things. You need to trust the offer that you're selling, you know,
Yeah.
because if you're not, then you are a scammer. If you're selling something that you don't believe in,
Yeah.
bro, you're scamming people.
Yeah.
But for example, for myself with my business, bro, I know that we provide so much value
Yeah.
that I'm always, bro, I feel bad if somebody like don't pay me because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know that I can help them, bro.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because you already understand the patterns. For example, you go into the business and you audit them businesses.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, so you're missing with your offer. You need to like break the whole gap. You're just like going into the first step, but the gap is missing some things, you know?
Yeah.
Then you create a whole infrastructure with the offer and you go into the marketing, you know?
Yeah.
And then you go into the like sales processes and this and that. But it's because you already got the experience. And that is really, really, really important. in
Although I
business.
think that with most info businesses, and if you're trying to start an info business, it's usually that you can provide the value that people need, The only problem for you is probably that you don't really know how to actually sell high ticket to them, actually charge high prices so you can leverage your business and grow your business to those insane numbers that you hear about.
Of course.
I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, is by having understanding that they can fulfill what people need, but just don't really know how to actually promise that and sell that to people upfront.
Of course.
That's the biggest thing.
And also, they don't have the CEO's mindset.
Yeah.
And that is extremely important because they only have the hustle mindset.
Yeah.
And that's why, bro, they don't got these results because they're only thinking about all the things that they can do by themselves. But you need to think as a team.
Yeah.
You need to think like, how can I leverage these things?
Yeah.
How can I like grow my businesses? And bro, the CEO mindset is extremely important when you're doing businesses, because if not, how are you going to treat your people inside of your organization? How are you going to hire people, you know? Because one of the things that we were talking before and that are really, really interesting is how can you maintain your setters and let them be better while being at your organizations? And how most of the business owners, they're not coaching like one-on-one the guys that are working with them. They're like, bro, okay, so this is your tasks, this is your activities, go do it yourself.
Yeah.
And then we'll be back in a week and you are going to let me know how was the results.
Yeah, this is
and
a
I'm
big
like,
mistake. Yeah.
How are you going to let your employees by themselves, bro? Like,
yeah, it's funny if you see a lot of info businesses that when they are currently doing like 20K a month, for example, and they want to scale to 100K, they often think that it's their marketing that has to do something different, but very often it's in their sales part and their sales process where they need to improve in order to actually scale. Because, for example, they think that they just hire an appointment setter and that's it, but there's a lot of maintenance that you need to make sure that the appointment setter keeps performing and actually keeps making money for them. Right?
Of course.
It's like an appointment setter is just your car to your destination. Like if you don't care about your car, if you don't let it check up once in a while, then you're eventually, the car gets broken down and you get stuck at the point where you're at.
Exactly.
Right? That's the biggest thing.
Exactly. Yeah, of course, bro. For example, for you see a lot of businesses. What do you think is the biggest mistake that they're making while hiring like appointment setters or like training them?
I think when it comes to hiring a lot of appointment setters, too many businesses look just for experience, and I think that's a big mistake that they make because there's a lot more than just experience. And I personally, when I hire people, I don't even look for experience at all, because there's a couple of things that I just look for, which is like the coachability,
communication,
like I said as well, the communication,
and the work ethic.
If you have these three, then you can hire basically any kind of rep that has that. And the only thing that you need to do then is you can hire someone to train them. You can also do it yourself if you have the sales skills. But training them at least once or twice a week is very important to keep them updated, but also to keep them accountable. Because like I said, sales is a part where people don't get paid because of them showing up. It's about them actually putting in the work and doing in the right work.
Exactly.
Right? It's about them performing. And if you don't have someone that trains them, then they're not going to perform in either way. So you have to make sure that you actually keep training your appointment setters to make sure that they're on top of their game and keep performing.
And also understand the importance of having a good setter. For example,
100%.
In the business, how important do you think is the appointment setter?
It's very important and something that a lot of people underestimate as well. Because in the end, the appointment setter decides how much money a business is going to make, right?
Exactly.
You have the marketing, which is obviously very important for lead flow. You have the guy that makes the content, which is obviously very important for the eyeballs. But eventually, the appointment setter decides how much money is actually being made.
Of course.
And that's what a lot of people underestimate as well. Because people see appointment setting as like a very simple thing that shouldn't be taken like a lot of care of in a business. But if you really want to grow to those 100, 200K months, then your sales team is by far the most important thing you should focus on next to your marketing. Because if you have those two in place, you're going to make a lot of money. Like you can't avoid it. That's the most important thing.
And also, how are you managing your people? Because you need to have your mission, your values in order so they can understand what is like the vision of the businesses. Where are we going? Because if they see the potential growth that we can have and they're like emerge into that culture, that is going to be completely different. Because if they have a place where they love to work with their co-workers, or they have like crazy activities or this and that, they're going to be, bro, like, I love to work in this place. Exactly. And they're going to give like the extra mile, the 2 extra miles, the 10 extra miles. Because they're not just being an employee that has like activities. For example, business owners who have setters and they're just like, okay, so you need to book like this type of calls, like 100 calls, and then I pay you.
They're treating them like a robot.
Exactly. And it's like, bro, you need to treat them to be part of the team.
They want to feel important.
Exactly.
That's the most important thing.
They want to, for example, at first be themselves and feel accepted.
Yeah.
And then how are you going to feel like part of the process, part of the business, if you ask them questions? Like,
Yeah.
for example, what do you think we can do with this strategy? And just let them think
Yeah.
and like feel value. Like, oh, they're going to be like, oh, they're asking me questions.
Exactly.
And then when they tell you something, be like, I love your idea.
Yeah.
And then you can have also different like thoughts, different perspectives.
Well, that first of all, but the interesting thing about that is that you may not use the ideas of the appointment setter, but the most important thing is that you make him feel important.
Exactly.
That's the most important thing.
Of course.
So you don't even have to use his ideas, but you can just make him feel important by asking him certain questions, like how should we approach this? What do you think of that? And just talking, like checking up on him once in a while is very important as well.
And then they're going to develop themselves. And if they develop themselves, they can get better ideas,
Exactly.
you know? And another mistake that they make is also ironic, but when the people inside of the organization make the mistakes, they get mad.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, why are my people mad with me?
Yeah.
You need to take care of those small things because atomic habits is extremely important in
Yeah.
businesses, in life. I love this
100%.
quote, like, the devil is in the details, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really true. Because if your employees make mistakes and you're like, okay, it's not that bad, you know, we're a team, we are going to work together to like fight a mistake or like to fight a problem. We are not against each other, like fighting with,
Yeah, that's the
you
most
know,
important thing.
that is a really, really
Yeah.
important topic that we can talk about also because when you have this culture inside of your organization, bro, everything changes, you
Yeah.
know? Because I don't know how people are doing businesses and they don't understand that everything moves because of people.
Yeah.
And people
yeah.
have emotions.
That's really good, yeah.
People, bro, they want to feel value. They want to feel like they have something to
Kind of impact.
exactly, bro, you know? And what do you think about those things?
Yeah, no, 100%. And it's about a lot of things, like making them feel important is like one of the most important things in business, especially with appointment setters, because they make or break your business in terms of money, right? And yeah, definitely like valuing them. And it can be in all sorts of ways. Like if you become really angry at someone for making a mistake, the next time they make a mistake, they're going to hide it from you. And
Exactly.
that's very, that's going to break your business. Like
Of course.
like
Of course.
if you don't become angry at them and you make them feel understood about the mistake they made, then they are going to open up the next time to you, and then
course.
that's going to make your
course.
entire business.
Exactly. And that is the culture that you want to cultivate inside of your organization because then the people are going to be like, this is my guy, like he's my boss,
Exactly.
but I can talk to him.
Exactly.
Like I can let him know that I make a mistake.
Yeah.
And then you can fix it. Because if you're always getting mad and this and that and being angry, they're gonna be like, I don't want to talk to this guy because if I make a mistake, he's gonna be mad with me. But if
Exactly.
you embrace themselves,
Yeah.
when they make a mistake, they're gonna be the first one that's gonna be like, bro, I make a mistake.
Yeah.
What we can do? And if you tell them, like for example, I love this framework, I love this mindset, like 80% of life is made by mistakes.
Yeah.
And the 20%
100%.
are the things that you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
So when you understand that you're going to go like finding mistakes, like I don't know, like looking for mistakes, looking for like failures and I don't know, bro.
It's the main thing you should do in your business if you want to scale it. Like just look for the mistakes you're currently making.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's very like by far the most important thing. And I think with appointment setters as well is like what a lot of business owners don't understand is that people have been brainwashed from the start of their life that making mistakes is a bad thing and they
Exactly.
shouldn't do it. So that's why it's very important that you from the start, once you hire an appointment setter, you hammer into his beliefs that making mistakes is not bad, it's actually good and it's the only way you're going to grow.
Exactly.
It's very important. You should
course.
say it every single call.
Yeah, you need to rewire their brains,
Exactly.
you know, because our like limiting beliefs that they used to have, you need to change that with a positive belief, you know, like you can do whatever you want. Okay, you make a mistake, so what happened?
Yeah.
Because the emotional part of like the human beings is extremely important. Because I remember when I was a closer, like 2 or 3 years ago, and I remember when I was having like bad times, I was not feeling well, like this and that. I was like giving that energy to my leads,
Yeah.
you know, and I was not closing on those months. I was like, damn, what happening here? I was not feeling that good.
Yeah.
And that thing is extremely important for you too, because if your employees are like feeling bad, they don't want to be with you, they feel bad, like they don't feel value, they're not going to perform as well, you know?
Exactly.
But if you're embracing themselves with that aspect of life, like the
Yeah.
emotional part, then they're going to be like, okay, so we can talk, you can be my friend, I can be with you, I can make mistakes, I can learn, and then everything grows.
Yeah.
Because if the people in your organization are looking at this, there's something new.
Yeah, 100%. And the thing is, like, people reflect their habits on your business. right? And that's the thing. Like if you hire someone that has a lot of bad habits, they're gonna reflect it on the business exactly like you said. Like if you're in a bad period of time, you're gonna see that energy on the calls as well and in your work. And that's why it's very important to also know your people on a personal level and actually make sure that their habits are also taken care of. And you can also do some training in this, which is something I dearly like advise, because it's very important that your appointment setters in this case are not only trained on a technical level but also on a personal level in terms of their habits, how they live, how they act, because it's going to reflect in the business, right? If your appointment setter goes out every single night, like sleeps out, doesn't do its morning rituals, like stuff like that, they are not going to have the energy that you need to someone to actually scale to those insane high numbers that you hear all the time. And if you have someone that's sharp, wakes up early, takes cold showers, whatever, it can be anything, right? But if he's just on top of his game, he's going to reflect that into the business as well. And it's very important that you take care of that and you actually implement that into their business. So you can do it by yourself and then reflect it upon others into your business, which you can create like an entire culture of it, and that's going to grow your business. So you become like one big friend group in your business. It's very, very important.
Exactly, and you use the same thing for other people. For example, your closers or your CMO or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Because that is the culture, as you said, that you have.
Oh,
so,
yeah, 100%.
For example, if any business owner is like looking at this video at this spot, what can you say to them so they can implement right now in their organization so they can do like a 2x on revenue?
Okay. If you already have setters, make sure that, I would say a small thing you can do is start implementing some kind of tracker where they can track habits. You can create an app together where you can put goals together, whatever. Make it like a culture. That's the first thing I would advise. Like make something together, but you not only track their habits, but also your own, and that they can see your habits. So you can see that they can see that you're on top of your shit, which motivates them to be on their top of their shit. You know what I mean? It's very important. And I think like having that personal level is a very simple way to at least like 2x your business, because it's all about the habits into your employees that's going to reflect on your business. It's really important.
And right now I have another question. For example, how they can be a good leader? Because the things that you were talking about, that is a good leader. The ones who leads with example. So how can they become someone who do that?
Okay. In terms of the sales team?
Yeah, in everything. For example, in the sales team, in the like appointment team.
It's interesting because managing and leading a team is basically sales as well. Because the only thing sales is letting someone else see the benefits of something so they can make that change. And it's with managing is the exact same. So for example, you can say like to an appointment setter, oh, I want to hit this and that for my business. I want to hit 100K, so you have to work harder. You can also say like, hey, I remember you said that you really wanted to get that car that you were talking about. Like, I think if you put in like 1 or 2 hours more a day, you can definitely achieve that at the end of the month. And then they can see the value of that work that they have to put in. And that way they can maybe be more motivated to actually start and work harder for it because they have their vision in mind. And that's what you implemented into their vision. And that's very important. It's just sales psychology as well.
Exactly. And connect with the people that is inside of your organization, because if you're telling that, they're going to be like, ooh, yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
And then you're changing beliefs, because in their mind, it can be like, there's two beliefs, your physical like limitations, and there's like your mental limitations that you can have.
Yeah.
So for example, there are things that you can't do physically, right? Or there are other things that your mind tells you that you can do, but you can't do, you know? And when you start doing that, your culture inside of your business is going to change like crazy. Because the people are going to be like, oh, so we can do this and we can do that. We can work out together. For example, one of my mentors, he have a culture that I love it. And with his team, he's always doing a marathon every single year.
Yeah, stuff like that is very good.
Of course.
It creates a lot of chemistry.
And what you told is amazing, how everything is a sell. For example, when we met, you sold yourself with your experiences, with what you did, with everything, you know? And I did the same thing. We're always selling. That's why that is the most important skill that a guy or like somebody who have a business can learn. Because if you know how to sell, you're never going to be hungry, you know?
No.
You're always going to have food in your table.
Sales is a very, very important skill because it's, like you said, it's not just in your business by selling your info product. It's also by, if you're an appointment setter, by getting hired, for example, is a very good thing. But also, like you said, like making friends. It's in everything in life. It's just being able to show someone else the benefit of working with you is a very important skill to have. And it's the same thing with if you want to manage your team, is like show them that they're working for themselves and not just for you. Right, and that's the most important thing. Like if you can show them like, okay, they have their own goals. You should set goals for them. Make a plan, make some goals, make habits for your employees, and you're gonna 2x your business at least. It's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You already dropped some sauce, bro. You already dropped some sauce. I don't know if you wanna like share something before we finish the pod. Like, what do you think is the best advice that you can give us to the people right now, so we can?
I would say the best advice I can give is learn sales, because once you learn sales, even though you're eventually want to have someone else take over that part of your business, sales is going to be very important as well if you want to manage that part of your business and actually want to teach them things as well. It's always going to be beneficial no matter what business you're in. So I would say learn about sales is very, very important.
Because if you know how to sell, then you can be a good leader.
Exactly.
Because you understand that when you need to sell
you'll
something,
be a good leader, you'll be a good friend, you'll be everything.
Exactly. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I love the pod, bro. We're about to finish because my friend in here needs to keep working. It's like 9 p.m. and Tuesday, but we are working like 24/7. Like, we're workaholics. So right now we're about to finish the pod. I think that we dropped some sauce, we dropped some value. I hope that you enjoy the pod because we try our best in here with my guy. We were trying to give you all the sauce that you need so you can grow your businesses. So it was a pleasure for me, bro. I don't know, you want to share something before
Thank you so much for inviting me. It was a really cool opportunity, and I just hope that a lot of people learn from these small experiences that I have had in the last couple of months, and I just hope to implement it in you guys' business as well. So
Yeah. It was amazing for me. As I told you, bro, it's my first time like recording a pod in English.
Yeah.
So it was perfect for me. I love to.
You did a good job, bro.
I love to have you as my first guest, bro. It was a pleasure to having you guys, and for everybody who is listening to this pod, it's always a pleasure to record this content for you, because the more value that we can provide for you, the best results that you can get, and that is our goal. So if you love this pod and you want to know if you can work with us, I'm going to put on the description his IG, my IG. You can send us a message, we can start talking. If you have a business, if you want to learn these skills as well, because my boy in here is teaching and coaching other people how to become a good setter. If you want to learn that skill, of course, with me in Spanish, or you want to learn about sales or whatever, of course, feel free to drop a message, and it's always a pleasure to have this meeting. So, my boy,
thank you so much for
inviting me. Thank you very
me,
much for being my first guest, bro. I love it. And we're about to do a full more content, so we'll just starting out, bro.
All right.